Buenos dias, everybody. Oh, this is going to be such a good call. In fact, this may be my favorite topic to talk about when I'm talking about business, when I'm talking about anything connected to women rising and moving into their personal power. You guys are going to love this call. Make sure that you are ready. You need to have with you, good morning, Ashley. You need to have with you. Okay, here's the thing. You need to come onto these calls prepared because I am dropping so much juicy information in these calls that you could actually start a business simply from watching these calls and taking notes. True story. You could actually do everything that I've done to build a business from watching these lives and taking notes. However, I can only give you the framework on these calls. I can't give you all of it because it's a whole situation. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Joanne. Good morning, Ashley. I love you guys so much. I am in really deep gratitude today. You know how you have days where you get up and you're just like, I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful that I get to come on every day at 9:30 a.m. and talk to the women in this community. I am so grateful that I followed my calling. I'm so grateful that I said yes. I'm so grateful that I am falling back in love with God and my journey. I am so grateful to have the people that I have and the resources that I have and the wisdom and the experience that I have. I'm so grateful that I'm able to come onto this call and actually talk to you about how to build a legacy business. I'm so grateful that I said yes a decade ago to build my own legacy businesses because now I get to come on and teach you for free on here about how to do it. And I actually, you guys, I haven't, by the way, BTW, my first masterclass in like 4 years. I haven't run a masterclass since my mom was diagnosed because it was just too much. You guys, I am actually, for the first time in 4 years, running a masterclass called Legacy Business Masterclass. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? Because I've been doing these lives and I realized that I actually needed to give the people who are showing up live with me every Tuesday and Thursday more of me and more opportunity to build what they want to build. So I decided to do Legacy Business Live. Legacy Business Masterclass. This is Legacy Business Live. Yes, I would love to have a moderator. That's amazing. Good morning, Chris Foster. Good morning, Alita. You guys, I am so excited today. So a few things. Number one, Legacy Business Masterclass starts Monday, April 6th. Please get in the room. This is such a low-hanging fruit for somebody who wants to build a business. Okay, it's $149 for 6 weeks of mentorship with me in a masterclass, plus the community that we're going to build there. You could actually take this masterclass, plus if you were to be on all of my lives, and you could build a legacy business from that. I'm giving you the 6 really super clear steps. Now you will have to do the work, right? But this masterclass is amazing. It's how I built Uncommon Woman, and it's how I built Crush Coffee. I'm not kidding you. I decided to do it because I have so many people, I would say especially since going to PK's conference last year. That's where it started. I realized that there are so many people who want to build ministry. There are so many women and men who want to build businesses that are connected to their faith, which is what I've done. And I didn't even know that, I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't realize that it was something that so many other people want. I really did not. So I call that a legacy business. A legacy business is built with love. This is my official, how do you guys like it? This is my official legacy business jacket. It's when we build a business from love. It's when we build a business that actually impacts other people long after we're gone. That's a legacy business. And so when I went to PK's dream I think she called it concert today too, which is so funny. Conference, I started talking to all these people who want to build a ministry, who want to have a business that's connected to their faith, who want to do good, who want to build incredible things from the goodness of their hearts that brings them wealth and also has a ripple effect and also serves the greater good. And I was like, that's what I'm doing with Uncommon Woman and Crush Coffee. And so when I started these legacy business lives, which was in January, the purpose of starting these was to serve those people. You see that? Yeah, she was so great today. I agree. Yeah, they're rooted in love. That's right, Ash. Good morning, Dreamweaver. So a legacy business is a business that you build from love. It's rooted in who you are at the core. And the goal with the legacy business versus any regular normal business is that you want to impact the greater good. So I like, hear me out. You want to impact the greater good. You want it to be aligned with your values. And also you want to build wealth. Okay. That's what a legacy business is. It's got 3 parts. There's a long-term impact. It's aligned. Write that down. Everybody should have on my calls. I kid you not. Okay? We're getting serious here. Tag people in the comments. Share this over to your timeline. You guys, I'm giving business coaching for free on this platform every Tuesday and Thursday. And there are so many people who come into my DMs and want to hire me as a business coach, and they can't right now. And I'm like, are you getting on all my free stuff? Somebody sent me a message the other day and said, what do? I have all of these things that I want to do, and I want to serve, and I want to build ministry, and I want to come into your Crushing It Collective, and I want to get all, but I can't afford it right now. What should I do? She sent me this big, long message. You know what I wrote her? Do all the free stuff. That's exactly what I wrote her. I said, do all the free stuff. Every time I go live, get on the call. Bring your journal. Bring a highlighter. Bring a pen. Bring lip gloss. Because we know how powerful it is. Okay? Come on, guys. Like, seriously. I've been building businesses since 2010. 15 years. What more do you want? Like, sometimes I wonder what people are waiting for. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Because honestly, like, you're getting free business coaching. Okay, so I'm going to stop saying that because I think you get the picture. Now you also have to have your candle. Look at this cute candle that I bought. I'm getting into it. You guys are going to love this call. It's really powerful. Okay, we're going to use the acronym VOICE, VOICE. Write it in your journal, VOICE. This is probably one of the most powerful messages. You know how I love my candles for my lives. I bought this one in Guatemala. I love these candles. You guys know these candles? I went into this store that was flowers and candles. Like, I literally wanted to move in, okay? My cafe is going to sell flowers and candles and books and really cute swag. Okay, anyway, I went in there and they had shelves of these candles, all different like designs. And I bought one for each of the guests at my retreat. And then I bought a few for myself because I love them so much. They're always so cheesy, but they're so beautiful. And you know what they do with them, right? They burn them all the time. And they burn for a super long time and they don't have a scent. I get a really, really bad headache from scented candles. Like anything that's not natural, right? So you need to, on all of my calls, I always say this, bring your candle, bring your journal, right? I'm going to put it right there so you guys can see it. Bring your journal, bring your pen, bring your highlighter, and we're going to start going. We're going to start writing, okay? We're going to start studying. You can build the business from these lives. And also, my Legacy Business Masterclass starts April 6th. So sign up for it right now so that you put it in your calendar. Be intentional with your time. And then that way for the next, 4 weeks before the masterclass starts, you're already building momentum. There's nothing more exciting than knowing that what we're doing right now is connected to what we're going to do together in 1 month. You'll be leaps and bounds ahead. Like I'm telling you, you will be leaps and bounds ahead of all the people who are sitting around twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure out how to start a legacy business. Because when you have somebody who's helping you do it, who's done it, then you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. People say to me all the time, I'm trying to figure this out. And what I'm saying to you is, you don't have to figure it out. I'm laying it out for you. No more figuring it out. I'm laying it out. Okay? All right. So share this to your community, tag people. Here we go. All right. So for the last few weeks, and and you always have to bring your coffee with you. Crushed coffee. Hello, hello. Oh, my V just fell off. My V just fell off. I have to look at. Let me see if I can. I'm going to have to put it on better. I hate when that happens. Let me see. This is very important. This is very important. Good morning, Ashley. Okay, here we go. If it doesn't stay on this time, I get so excited about this stuff. Between this and my Uncommon Woman Ministry Lives, like my heart is so full all day, every day. Okay, here we go. So when you are building a legacy business, there are a few things that you have to know at the outset. And we've already talked about these, but I'm just going to recap. Number one is to identify what you're called to do. So if you're taking notes, just write that at the top. Reminder, number one, identify what I am called to do. Now, here's what's really important for you to remember. You already know. You've already been told. It's already in your heart. So there are people who know because they've actually been paying attention to some of the signs and messages recently. Okay, there are those people. Let me know if you're one of those people by saying me. Put me in the comments if you already know. In other words, you've been paying enough attention, you've been going to conferences, or you're just really aware what you've been called to do. Okay, so put a 1 in the comments, put me in the comments. Put me in the comments if you know that, for example, you're supposed to build a ministry for women who have come through breast cancer, okay? Or you want to build a business where you sell beautiful candles that have flowers in them, or you want to have a clothing line, or you want to bake cookies, or you have some t-shirt company like Chris. So what I want you to do is put me in the comments if you already know what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Just put a me in the comments. You don't have to know all the details. You just know, like, I want to build a ministry for women who have left domestic violence. Okay? Boom. Put me in the comments. If you're still uncertain, then put uncertain in the comments. Just put uncertain in the comments. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because you can't heal it if you don't reveal it. In other words, you need to know that you have a little bit of work to do now. Now, this is the work that we've already done on these calls. We already talked about how to identify your calling. If you go back about 3 weeks, you'll see me talking about this on Legacy Business Live. It was the first thing that we talked about. However, the masterclass that I'm going to be running in April, we are going to dive into that in a deeper way, and I'm actually going to support you. In other words, for those of you who either don't know and you want to know, or you kind of know, but you want to refine it, that first week of the masterclass will blow your mind, okay? Because I help you get really clear. that's just week 1. It's so good, you guys. It's just so good. Believe me when I tell you, get into this masterclass, no matter what level you're at. Even when I run these masterclasses, my business elevates because I've been doing business for 15 years and I still revisit RomyMarlowe.com. As soon as you go to my website, it'll pop up. Okay. I just got to make sure this is it. Okay. So you put a me in the comments. Look at all these me's: Reagan, Renee, Sarah, Chris, Ash, Alita. Okay, so you guys already know what you're called to do. Now, there might be questions like, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to, turn into, but I know. Okay, that's amazing. If you're uncertain, that's okay, because before we knew, we were uncertain. Before I knew, I was uncertain. I was a teacher for 10 years, and I knew without a doubt that I was meant for more. And that doesn't mean that teaching isn't amazing. But for me, I knew that I was supposed to be doing something different. And sure enough, I did it. Okay? I love this. It's so important to know that you are uncertain first. So if you're uncertain, don't worry. But you have to say, I'm uncertain. Because in that way, you start opening your heart up to the messages and the ministry that God is putting into your heart, because he already knows. So here's the important thing for you to know. Write this down. I don't know, but God does. Yes, we're talking business. I don't know, but God does. Get in communication with him. Have a really good conversation with him about your calling, because he will start to speak into you if you invite him in, but he won't if you don't. I had to actually ask him, and I told this story last week. I've told this story so many times. When I was down on my knees and I was super drunk on red wine and I was in a really dark place, I asked him, what is it that you would have me do? Because I am in a dark place right now. What is it that you're wanting me to do? Because this isn't working. If it's not working in your life, it's not right. And instantly, I got a message which said, turn around and support other women who have stories like yours. You guys, that was almost 11 years ago. No, wrong. That was 13 years ago. That was 2013. In 2015, I closed my gym. And I built Uncommon Woman. And if you're not in the Uncommon Woman, get into it. Get into the Uncommon Woman Global Ministry. Get in my space. That space was built for me being on my knees, asking Jesus what I was supposed to do, because I almost went this way. You guys, do you realize that I had a business conversation with Jesus? On my knees, one red ball in. Okay? And by red ball, I mean one bottle of red wine in. That was a business conversation. I have run retreats. I've traveled all over the world. I was in Australia 2 years ago with one of my clients for a month because of that conversation. Okay? Get him involved in the conversation. So first, we have to identify your calling. So if you already know, so if you're somebody who put me because you know, then what more do you need to do? Like, how can you grow it, right? I gave you guys homework last week because I couldn't be on the live. And the question was, if you had no limitations and if there was nothing in your way, how big would your legacy business be? How big would you go? That was your homework. And then I addressed it on Thursday or Tuesday, I can't remember. If there were no limitations, if you weren't worried about money or time or other people's opinions or your bad back or whatever the reason is that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, how big would you go? Because that, my sisters and brothers, is the real question. And that's where we end in my masterclass. We actually end in week 6 looking at the biggest version. So by the time we get to week 6, you've already thought about the small version and you'll realize that it's not enough and that the big version is the one that you really want to get into. because that's where you leave a legacy. That's where you find wealth. That's where you find your people. That's where you have no, what's the word? You don't worry about what other people think. You have no limits at that place. Okay? So we get there by week 6. Get in the room for this masterclass. It will change your business if you have a business, and it will change your perspective of how you can do business. It will take all the fear away. So many people actually think that it's scary. We take all the fear away. I help you with a roadmap so that you don't have to worry about being afraid. You'll have a plan. And a dream without a plan, or a business without a plan, is just a dream. Or a dream without a plan will continue to be a dream, and it will be nothing more. So I don't want you to talk to me about what you're thinking about and dreaming about. I want you to say, this is what I'm working on. This is the legacy business that I have decided to build. This is, come look at this. Look at this, what I've got planned. I'm going to put it out into the world, knocking knees, and it's going to be messy. You know how I started? You know how I started Uncommon Woman? A Facebook group. That was it. I just thought, how do I do this? Because I had this conversation. Good morning, my beautiful Renee. I love you. Good morning, DIY 80s. All I did was have a conversation with God. And he said, okay, you're too drunk for me to have a real conversation with you right now. Because remember, I was drunk on my knees when I had that first conversation with him, which was a business conversation. I said, what do you want me to do? Because I am in a dark place. And he said, go create spaces and places and platforms and opportunities for women who have stories like yours. That's all I could hear at the time. And at the time I owned a gym, and I thought, I don't even know what that means. Okay, you know what I did? I turned around and I started coaching the women at my gym differently the next day. So that's where it stayed. That's where it started. Then what I did was I started a Facebook group. And I started inviting people into my Facebook group. It was free. I didn't really know what I was doing, but you know what I did know? What my story was and how I could help people. And that was enough. I did exactly as he told me. So I said to people, I've left a toxic relationship. I'm trying to rebuild my life. And I've actually gone this far. I left him. I left the business that he and I had built. I had to start with nothing. And I went and built my own business on my own gym on $1,000. And I stood back up and my gym is full to overflowing. And even though I don't know what I'm doing, I think I must know something. So come into my Facebook group. And that's how the Uncommon Woman launched. Why did I call it Uncommon Woman? Because I am an uncommon woman. Because it's uncommon for us to do this kind of thing. Most people stay down, but not people in my world. We don't. We get up. That's how I started what is now a legacy business. I started a free Facebook group for women who had stories like mine. So if you're not in my free Facebook group, it still exists. Get in there. Just go Uncommon Woman. Look for groups, Uncommon Woman. Not the Uncommon Woman Global Ministry. That's my private Facebook group for the women who are in my paid ministry, in my membership group. But my Uncommon Woman Facebook group is free. Okay, back to the message. Okay. So you have now the acronym VOICE written on a piece of paper, right? So step number 1 was identify your calling. Step number 2 was step into it, right? Like just step into it. So identifying it was me on the ground, having a conversation with God, and stepping into it was opening up my free Facebook group. There's not one person on here who cannot do that. Not one. So when this call is done, if you want to have any kind of ministry, you should go and open a Facebook group, right? So there's step 1 and step 2. You guys, that's how I started my business. I'm actually giving you business advice. Okay. I don't want my V to fall off. Okay. Now, here's the next part of this. You have to start talking about it. You have to use your voice, right? So if I hadn't gone out and actually started talking about it, posting it on social media, talking to the women in my world about what was going on, inviting people in. If I hadn't done any of that, we would not be standing here, right? So I had to actually start talking about it. I had to start sharing it out with the world. Here's what I've been through. And I did not give people, excuse me, I talked about this on Thursday. Well, I talked about it yesterday on the Uncommon Woman Ministry Live. And I also talked about it last Thursday in the God's Girl guest call. That we don't need to give everybody all the details. All we need to do is say, I was in a bad situation. I'm going to tell you right now, not everybody wants to know all the details. He said, she said, and then the X, and then this, and then they took my kids, and it came back, and then, oh my gosh, then I was diagnosed with, like, I'm going to tell you right now. And I teach you this, more about this, in the Legacy Business Masterclass. I teach you how to actually tell your story without telling everything. Because A, you don't want to be that person. Nobody wants to be around the person who all they do is talk about how terrible it was. I teach you how to own your story and stand on the shoulders of it. Right? Yeah, your 3-minute story, exactly. And I actually have a program called 3-Minute Story Masterclass where I teach women how to stand on the shoulders of their story. Okay? But in the Legacy Business Masterclass, we're going to do a version of that. But here's the thing. You have to start telling your story, but your version, the non-victim version, the version of the person who got up. Because let me tell you something right now. Nobody's going to join you if you come off like a victim. Nobody wants to pay to be around a victim. So if you're looking for a business, if you want to build your legacy business, that means that people are going to pay you. People are not going to pay to be around a victim. All they have to do is go to some kind of a circle, a free circle in the city, and everybody gets to talk about how terrible their lives are. They'll go there for free, but nobody's going to pay to listen to your victim story, right? And I'm saying this from a place of love. This is actually, have you guys ever seen, put a yes in the comments, if you've ever gone on social media and somebody, all they do is talk about how terrible things were. And that's why they've started their business. And then they kind of go into this, like their victim story. And you're sitting there going, I don't even know what you're selling. All you're doing is talking about how terrible things were. Why would I give you 1 cent of my money? Because my money is valuable. And I don't want to sit and listen to you talk about how terrible your life was and how dark everything is. There's enough of that already. When people pay you, they want to pay you because you're the light in their life. They want to pay to be in proximity with light. It's funny, when I was at the mastermind in January with Pastor Kim, Real Talk Kim, I'm in her masterminds. And one of the women who was in the group said, at one time, I thought it was ridiculous to pay somebody to be my friend. And they said, but when I think about it, I'm not paying for friendship. I'm paying for wisdom. I'm paying for proximity. I'm paying for community. I'm paying you like I would pay a trainer at the gym to show me how to be this way, to show me how to be the light, to show me how to overcome, because I don't know how. And it was such a good conversation, because so often people say, why would you pay for a mentor? Why would you pay? You're not really paying for a friend. You're paying for proximity to somebody who's been there, done that, and they will give you everything because that's what they're called to do. That's their calling. And so I've had a few people in the last 10 years say, why would I pay you to be my mentor when I could just be your friend? And I'm like, well, see, here's the thing. I don't talk to my friends about building their businesses. Like, that's my work. My friends and I talk about shoes and boys and going out for dinner. But if you're going to be my friend, be my friend. But you're probably not going to get a bunch of business advice from me, because that's not necessarily what I do with my friends. But if you want to be in my world because you want to learn how I built my legacy businesses, then hire me to be your coach, because I will teach you that. Just like a teacher is paid a salary to teach children, I I am paid to teach what I teach. It's the same thing. This is the calling on my, and you know how many women have built businesses in my mentorship? I don't even know. I honestly don't even know. I've been doing it for 10 years, right? So this is really important for us to recognize too, that people have skills and gifts, right? Sorry, my dog is really shedding right now. And I feel like this has never happened before. And I feel like her hair is in the air and I'm always really itchy now. It's weird. But if you want to build a business, you need to get in the space of people who talk about their businesses and are unapologetic about their businesses and who share it with the world so you can see how they do it, right? This is so important. Okay, so we're talking about using your voice. So you've got the acronym VOICE. Number 1, validate your voice. That's V. Validate your voice. What does that mean? This is when you come in not looking for perfection, not looking for permission, and not looking for proof that you won't be rejected. Because most women are afraid to validate their voice. They're waiting for somebody to say, go do it. You're amazing. It sounds perfect. You're not going to upset anybody. And I'm not going to say any of those things to you. It's not going to be perfect. You are going to be rejected by people. And you don't need anybody's permission. You validate your own voice. Nobody can do it for you. And if you're waiting for validation, oh, there goes my V. And if you're waiting for validation from other people, you're going to be waiting a really long time. So you have to validate your own voice. You have to simply say, I am worthy because I am a child of God, of doing the work that has been called into my heart, that has been dropped into my heart, that I have been called to do. I am worthy and responsible. Let's talk about responsibility for a minute. I am responsible to answer the calling on my heart. So many people are in a spin cycle. And you know what? Most people are in a spin cycle because they're bored and they have no purpose. As soon as you start stepping into your purpose, you don't have time to be bored. Yesterday, I laid down for an hour and had a nap in the middle of the day. I never do that. You know why? I have got so much going on. I don't have time to be bored. And I was like, I need to lie down. Like, my brain hurts today. I don't have time to be bored. I haven't been bored in years. I don't even know what it's like anymore. I really don't. So if you're feeling purposeless or bored in your life, it's because you're not in your calling. And the minute that your calling starts to feel boring, it's because you're not going far enough with it, right? Okay, so number 1 is validate your voice. Confidence is not built after you speak. It's because you speak. Confidence is not built after you speak. Do you realize that confidence comes after courage? People say to me all the time, how are you so confident? And you know what I say? Because I've been courageous time after time after time after time. That's it. I'm not confident first. You can't be a confident Olympic swimmer if you've never swam. You can't be a confident public speaker, like a real confident, capital C confident. You can go up there and throw gel at the wall, but to be an actual confident business owner, you must first take steps in courage. So when I opened up my Facebook group, the first person who was in there was my mom. And I remember calling, at the time, it was called Uncommon Woman Global Ministry, which is funny because now that's my actual faith ministry. So some things have shifted. But my mom said, I love that you're calling it a global ministry and I'm the only one in there. And you know what I said to her? I said, it's going to be global. And guess what? We're global. You have to have courage first, then confidence, right? So whatever it is that you plan on doing, I promise you, you're not going to be confident first. You're going to fall forward. You're going to be nervous. You're going to ask people if they think it's stupid, like all the things, but you're still going to do it because that's how you build a business, right? Your voice is not earned, it's inherent. You already have a voice. You're just not using it probably or properly. If you have a calling on your heart and people don't know about it, what that means is that you have yet to use your voice properly, right? So how do we use our voice properly? We start talking about simply what it is that we want to create. And you can just tell your story, but don't tell the he said, she said. I was diagnosed, or I left I got married to somebody, or I was in a relationship and I didn't realize it, but it took a turn for the worse, and domestic violence became a part of our day-to-day, and I knew I couldn't live like that, and I knew it was wrong, so I left, and now I want to help other women leave. Like, that can be your story. I said that in 15 seconds. We don't have to be like, he was my high school sweetheart, and then we got married, and then things started progressing, and then over time, like, you can tell that story, but you don't have to tell it right away. Just say to people, X plus Y equals Z. This was what happened, so I did this, and now here I am. That's enough. You don't need to be the expert to begin. I have never actually been certified as a coach, and I never will. But guess what? I am now coaching other women to be coaches in my business. So I'm already beyond needing a certification. And I've been working with women for 15 years. I spent 5 years as a fitness coach, which I recognized was really life coaching in cute jeans, okay, cute leggings. And then when I closed my gym in 2015 to become a personal life coach for women, I had already gone through so much stuff. I thought, I don't need a certification. I certified myself. And instantly women started coming into my life, creating healthy boundaries, find your voice, your 3-minute story masterclass, seats to stage, all these programs, ascension, transcendence, all these programs that I created from my personal experience. These women came in and they changed their lives. I didn't need to get a coaching certification. Somebody out there wants you to pay them to get a piece of paper on the wall that you're probably never going to use. Just start. You're already qualified. I remember I went to university. I have 2 degrees. One of them is a Bachelor of Arts and the other one is a Bachelor of Education. I went and got my Bachelor of Education. And you know what I learned from that? The one thing that stands out for me from that entire program that I spent 10 or 12 grand on was I learned how to create programs. That was it. Because I'm an extrovert. I didn't actually need to go to teacher's college to learn how to be a teacher. In fact, we spent some time in the classroom, but most of the time we sat learning about the psychology of education, which bored the crap out of me, and watching really bad teachers try to teach us how to be teachers. Like, I'm not even joking. My dad was a high school teacher. I learned more from him watching him as a child than I ever learned at the back of bed. Do not waste your money. Okay? Just start. Silence is often rooted in fear of rejection, not lack of value. So you already know that your story needs to be told. You already know that you have something to share. The reason that you're not using your voice is because you're afraid of rejection. It's not because you don't know. Because deep down, if I said to you, tell me what you've been through and tell me how you got out of it, you would say, here you go. If we were sitting over coffee. But as soon as somebody comes onto a live and hits live, they go, oh, what if other people, you guys, who cares? Who cares what other people think? Because you have a calling. And the right people will come, and it might take some time. You guys, I have 11 people on one live and 4 people on the other. That's a total of 15. I've been doing these lives since summer of last year. If I was worried about numbers, I wouldn't be here. But you know what's really crazy? Is that the people that are here are exactly who is supposed to be here. And that's what's important to me. And my business does not depend on how many people come onto my lives. My business depends on how I navigate my business and how I walk my talk. I just came back from, you wouldn't know it based on the numbers on my lives, but I just came back from Guatemala with 2 of my regional directors who are my global directors. Okay, so I have 15 people on the live, but I have a regional director in Australia and a regional director in USA. Now, if I allowed the way that people perceive social media, like the numbers of likes on my post or the number of people on my lives, if I let people's opinions, or if people's opinions of my business based on what they see here, if they let that drive their opinion of me, nobody would come into my space. But as soon as you get onto my social media, as soon as you dig deeper, you realize I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time. I've been doing it well. So I'm trying to tell you that the numbers here don't matter. What matters is who's here. There are 15 people live with me right now. 15. Imagine if every person who is on my live started a legacy business. That's 15 legacy businesses that will have an impact long after they're gone. That blows my mind. 15. So what's 15 times 15? Imagine if 15 of those businesses touched 15 people. So these 15 businesses, now we have 16. These 16 businesses touch 16 people each. That's exponential. Do you see what I'm saying? What matters most, I want you to hear me. What matters most is not how many people are on your lives looking at your lipstick or looking at your cute earrings. It's how many people are actually listening to you. Who's actually listening to you? Who's actually going, wow, she knows what she's doing. Wow, maybe she's got something to say. Wow, maybe when PK put her on her panel, it's because she sees that she's got something to say. Maybe when she goes to Guatemala with her regional directors, it's because those women have invested in being part of Uncommon Woman because they trust her. This is what matters. Your integrity and your impact matters more than how many people are on your lives or liking your social media. Just go do stuff. Do I want to build these lives as I go? Yes, but it will not stop me. I could have 12 people here in a year and I would still be here. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care. Because a lot of the women that have come here, that are on these lives, are now coming into my spaces, more intimate spaces, because they're like, she's an integrity. She shows up. She walks her talk. She really pours into people. She loves God. She's building legacy businesses. And she's building a ministry, and she's traveling with her clients, and she has time to love her dad, and she has time to, snuggle with her dog. And she's got, wow, maybe, just maybe, there's something there. I'm telling you all of this because I'm not getting caught up on social media numbers, but don't stop because you have one person on your live or one person in your group. Okay? This is what I mean. I just want you to keep going no matter what. It's actually how you build resilience. There have been times, you guys, when I have come on live and nobody's been on. Not one person. I've been in business for 15 years. And sometimes I'm like, how can I be in business for 15 years and have nobody coming on? And then I think, who knows? Like, am I going to do a journal entry about it? Or am I just going to say, who knows? Because then I open up the live later and I can see that there's been like 700 views. I'm like, okay, so nobody came on the live, but people watched it. Like, even if there was one view, one person watched it. Like, this is what I'm saying. Okay? Where have you been waiting for permission instead of just choosing to follow what it is that you know to be true about your life? Right? Imagine. Okay, so that's V. Okay, I'm going to hurry up. Consistency. That's right. And what's funny is they grow over time. Sometimes I'll have 20 people on. Sometimes I'll have 3 people on. But the point is, people know, you guys now know that Monday to Friday, if you are available and I'm not stuck in an airport or on a plane somewhere or without access, I will be live. So if you're feeling alone, if you need business advice, if you need a little bit of Romy juice, what do? You come in and you find me at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, and I will be here. Because you know that this is my calling. I'm not messing around. This is my work. I'm working right now. Right? Like, I'm co-creating with God as we speak. This is my work. Okay, number 2, own your story. So V was validate your voice. 2 is own your story. My story is my authority. Write that down. You should have your little journal with your little highlighter, right? Get out your journal. Get out your highlighter. You have your journal. You have your highlighter. Get in there. Own your story. What does that mean? That means don't downplay your experience. Don't downplay what you've been through, right? Don't skip over growth. Don't brush over and say, oh, well, I did that thing. No, own it. You can see me standing here owning my story. Put a yes in the comments if you see me owning my story, owning my gift, owning my calling, owning my confidence, owning everything that I had gone through. I own it. I own being drunk on the floor with a bottle of red wine in me. I own having been in a domestic situation. I own walking away. I also own the fact that I wasn't a God's girl for a long time. I also own the fact that I am now. I also own the fact that I don't care what people think of me. I also own the fact that there was a time when I did. I own all of it. Own your story. When you own your story, when you come on to a live or you sit with somebody for a cup of coffee and you put your shoulders back and your heart forward and you say, this might sound crazy, but here we go. That's you owning it. Okay? Own your story. Nobody wants to hire anybody who's, what's the point? You've already been there. Don't let that person or that situation see you like that. You guys, I'm going to tell you something. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something kind of personal? Say yes in the comments. I don't even know if I've told this story live, but because you guys are so amazing today, I'm going to tell you. Okay? The person who was toxic and emotionally and verbally abusive to me, I didn't see him for years. Like, I never saw him again. And then one day I did. I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly. It was about 3 years ago, and I was at a campground visiting a friend in the parking lot. Okay? How does this happen? I get goosebumps. Nobody else was in the parking lot of this campground. It was full of cars, but it was like dinner time. So maybe everybody was doing dinner. And I had come to this campground. This is such a good story. This is what I mean by you own your story. So I left him and I built my own gym. Okay? And the last thing he said to me was, I can't wait to see you fail. This is really important that you know this. Okay? That was the last thing he said to me. When I left that gym after he said that, he had changed the locks. I couldn't go back in. What he didn't know is that I had already built another gym. In the pockets of my time at night with my family and my friends, I built a gym. Okay? I'm not kidding you. With $1,000. And it became the #1 gym in the city that year. Okay. He said, I can't wait to see you fail. My gym that he didn't know that I had built because he was abusive and I had to get out. I built it without him knowing. It was the #1 gym in the city that year. Okay, so that's number one amazingness. Okay, so I don't see him for like 7 years or 6 years or something, like forever and ever. And I'm at this campground and I'm in the parking lot and I'm looking super cute because it's summer and I've got my little summer dress on. And I cut my hair, like the hair that I have now that's short and blonde and everything. When I left him, my hair was long. And then I cut it and I dyed it. And I was like, I completely built a new identity. Okay. Now I'm letting it grow. But you guys have seen my hair all, I cut it and it's been like that for years. Anyway, so I'm in this cute little sundress and I'm standing in the parking lot waiting for my friend to come and let me in because there's a gate. You can't just walk in and out, right? And we're the only, and do I not, from super far away, see somebody walking toward me? And I'm like, I know, you know how you just, you guys, put a yes in the comments if you just know somebody's walk. You're like, I know that walk. Put a yes in the comments. I spent so much time looking at that person's walk. I could tell that. I know that's them from a mile away. And I'm standing there waiting on the steps of the building. There's one building that you have to go into to get into the campground. And I'm standing on the steps and I see him walking. This is such a good story. In fact, I'm going to start adding this to my story because this is such a good story about personal power. He starts walking toward me. And just like I know him, he knew me. Even because he'd seen he'd seen me on social media or whatever with my hair. And we locked in. Now, I locked in. And I didn't take my eyes off him. Because that man wanted to intimidate me. Just by walking toward me. And I stood there. Just like this. Looking super cute. Okay? And he walked up the stairs. It's just the two of us. He walked up the stairs. The stairs are probably 10 feet wide. He walked, here's me. He walked like this. And I looked at him like this. I looked him right in the eyes. And guess what he did? Now, you guys know the science and the psychology behind looking away. It means you lost. Ooh! And you know what? I never wished bad on that man. I didn't have to. He brought it on himself. But let me tell you, I stood there and I looked at him. He wasn't looking, we locked eyes until he got right here. And then he looked forward and he looked away. And let me tell you, my eyes burned holes in the back of his head. And as he walked away, he shook his head like he always used to do. He always used to do this thing that would be like, you're so pathetic, okay? He used to do this thing when he would get angry at me. And as he was walking away, because he knew that I was watching him, because I did not take my eyes off him till he was gone, he shook his head like he always did. And guess what I did? I went, something like that. A little bit of nonverbal communication to let him know that, baby, I didn't fail. Let that one land. Okay? It's a good story. I won my game. You know, life is a game against yourself. Had I looked away, if he had walked up those stairs and I looked away, I would have lost the game with myself. Not with him. He thinks, and he still does, he thinks that I'm in a game with him, but I'm in a game with me. And the only way that I got to have my power, not back, but to hold my power in that moment was to look him straight in the eye until he had to look away. And then I watched him till I couldn't see him anymore. That's how I held my power. If I can do that, I can do anything. We decide how our story ends. I could tell you all the things that that guy did that broke me and shattered me. That's why that was so important. Because he broke me and shattered me at a time when I didn't have the self-confidence anymore. I stayed with him so long that it wore me down to a nub. And I didn't have the self-confidence anymore. But I spent like a decade building it back. And he hadn't seen me for a long time. And I was a different woman. Be different than the person you were in your story. Okay? Own it. Okay, so that's VOI. I'm going to run through these last ones. See, this is why you got to get in the masterclass. This stuff changes. This changes you at a chemical level. Okay, I. Interrupt fear. Fear doesn't go away. You go anyway. Write that down. Fear doesn't go away. You go anyway. So when that happened, I could have turned, but I didn't. I went anyway. I looked him straight in the eye and watched him walk by me till he went through a door. I couldn't see him anymore. Was my heart beating? Yes. Was I afraid? No. I had been afraid in his presence before because he told me if I ever left him, he would kill me. Okay? But what did I do? I left him. Fear doesn't get in the way. You go anyway. You have to leave somebody when they say something like that. Right? I went anyway. And now I help other women leave. Now I help other women build businesses so that they can turn around and say, oh yeah, well, my business was the #1 gym in the city for the year. Oops, I guess I failed. Not. Right? That's why I do it. Now do you understand why I do what I do? Now do you understand why I'm so convicted? Now do you understand why I don't care what people think? Because if I cared what people thought, I wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't be alive because I was so close because of what I was worried other people would think. I was so close to not following what I was supposed to do. If I'm going to go through that, I'm not going to stop. If I'm going to go through what I went through, which was hell, this is nothing. Starting a business is nothing compared to living in abuse. Having somebody threaten you with your life if you leave them and then you leave. Starting a business is nothing compared to leaving somebody who said, if you leave me, I'll kill you. Starting a business is easy because nobody's ever said to me, if you start a business, I'll kill you. So for me, it's a lot easier to start a business, right? We got to put it in perspective, you guys. Overthinking, people pleasing, what will they think, playing small to stay safe, all of those things are going to get in the way of you building your business. Fear is a signal, not a sign to stop. If you're afraid, it's a signal. What does that mean? Something needs to change. It's a signal that somewhere inside of you, you're not fully confident yet. I was afraid of a lot of things, but I didn't stop. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? Other people's opinions? Let me think about that. Do I really care what other people think about me? I really don't. You guys, can I tell you something? I don't care what other people think of me. I really don't. I just don't. And it has given me so much freedom. I don't care if people don't like my earrings or my hair, or they don't like that I talk about God on my social media, or that they don't like the way that I coach, or they don't like the decisions. I don't care. You don't like my prices? I don't care. It's not that I don't care about the people. I don't care about their opinions of me. That's different. right? I care about all the people all the time. But I don't care about their opinions. If I cared about people's opinions, I would still be with him, because people would say to me, I can't believe that you're leaving. You're going to leave your business? And I'm like, do you understand what's going on? Like, yeah, I'm leaving. Okay. C, create confidence through action. Okay, now I'm going over time, so I'm going to do 5 more minutes. Create confidence through action. Confidence is created, not found. All right? So, V, validate your voice. O, own it. I is interrupt fear. C, create confidence through action. You cannot be confident without taking action. So if you want to be a confident business owner, you got to start a business. You're not going to be confident and then start a business. Now, you might be a confident person, and so starting a business is no big deal for you. Okay, then great. You don't have to worry about the confidence piece. But most people struggle with confidence. I don't know if it's going to be good enough. I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I'm pretty enough. I don't know if I know enough about social media. I don't know if I know. You guys, I don't have a business degree. I have been a terrible business owner on so many levels, but I'm a great leader of a movement. That's different, right? I might not be the best business owner on the planet, like I'm still learning, but I'm an incredible leader of a movement. I can lead, but maybe I'll give the business stuff to somebody else. Maybe I'm going to have somebody else do my books. Maybe I'm going to have somebody else do a 360 and say, hey, let's put your website up here. Right? You don't have to be great at everything. Just be great at your mission. So many people get those two things mixed up. To be a business owner, you want to be a better business, like you want to be a better business owner, and you want to be better at business. Yes, for sure. But your most important the most important thing is for you to be really tuned into your calling. I have sat at the table about Crush Coffee in particular and said, I know nothing about coffee. Like, I'm not even joking. I say it all the time. People say, why did you start a coffee company? You do a bunch about coffee? And I'll say, no. I drink coffee every day. I'm great at branding. I have this great idea. But I'll tell you what I'm really good at. Empowering and employing women. And that's our tagline. Crush Coffee empowers and employs women from seed to sale. You want to put a woman in front of me? I'll tell her what she can do. You want to put a woman in front of me? I'll tell her that she doesn't have to be enslaved by coffee. You want to put a woman in front of me? I'll tell her, you go start your own coffee business so that women aren't enslaved by the coffee industry and only owning 10 to 15% of all coffee companies. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at branding things. I'm good at ideas. I'm good at communication. I'm good at selling my coffee. I'm good at doing a pop-up. I'm good at bringing people into the mission. That's what I'm good at. But I don't know anything about the coffee industry. I'm learning. I just went to Guatemala and I did a coffee plantation tour. I know so much more. I probably know more than most people now, because most people who own coffee companies probably don't even go there. I'm learning, but it's not what's most important. What's most important is that every single business that I own is in alignment with my calling, which is to turn around and help women who have stories like mine, which was at one time I was enslaved through this terrible relationship, right? That I put myself in. At one time, I had nothing. At one time, I had no confidence. At one time, I felt disempowered. And now, I'm not. And so whether it's a coffee company or a t-shirt company or Uncommon Woman or whatever it is, for me, that's where I inject my calling, right? Okay. The last one, E, embody your authority. I don't shrink, I stand. And I'm standing here today, I hope, as an example of what that looks like. I own my authority. When it comes to empowering women, I own my authority. In other words, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a long time. And I know that God keeps working through me. And whenever I make a mistake, whenever I screw up, or whenever I hurt somebody, or whenever I miss something, he comes in and says, get your heart right. And I go, okay. Because I'm here to serve him through my work. But I don't ever say, because I made a mistake, I got to take my own authority away. I never say, because I hurt somebody, I'm not worthy. I'm human. My job is to be better every day, but I'm going to make mistakes. And you know what? You know I'm going to get back up. You will never, as long as I am alive, I will be doing this work. Like, if you're in my world, you're just finding me now. I've been doing this since 2015. Like, I have been here a long time. And what I love is that there are people who I'm new to, and they're like, oh, wow, I'm like, sister, I have been doing this work for a decade. Just like I just found PK like last year. And when people say, oh, I've been following her for 15 years, I'm like, 15 years? And then I'll go back and I'll be like, how did she not come into my world for 15 years? It's because she came into my world when I needed her. When I was ready to launch a ministry, she came into my world. And she's helping me build my ministry. She is the person who I lean on and I get in proximity with, and I pay to be there because she's done something that I want to do. Right? So I continue to pay her to be in her space so that I can see what she's doing from close up. That's what mentorship is. So if you want to get close up to what I'm doing, get into the Legacy Business Masterclass. Go to romymarlowe.com. It's the first thing that will pop up. Sign up, get in it, commit. Like, get in it today, commit to being there, and then show up for these lives every Tuesday and Thursday for the month of March. And I promise you, by the time that the masterclass starts, you'll be leaps and bounds ahead. Okay? Because I love you and I want you to win the game against yourself. Because this is a game against ourselves. Am I smart enough? Am I rich enough? Am I pretty enough? Have I done enough this and that and the other thing? The fact that you're here is enough. You don't have to, what I'm doing in that masterclass is saying, okay, now that we know that you're enough, because that's not even a thing, I'm going to help you lay out a plan. Let's go. Right? Excuse me. Okay. I'm going to get going. I love you. I honor you. Stay on comment. If you want to get into the Uncommon Woman Ministry, which is my global ministry, which is my sweet little group of women who are from all over the place, and we study the Bible and we have great conversations, go to romymarlowe.com and go to Uncommon Woman Ministry and join us. It's $29 a month. If you want to join also the Legacy Business Masterclass, it starts Monday, April 6th. It'll run for 6 weeks. It's $149 right now, which is, by the way, the early bird. So the price will go up about mid-March, okay? And then it'll probably be more, I can't remember if it's like $199 or $179. It changes like by $50. And also I have the Crushing It Collective, which is my group mind for women in business who are also women of faith. We meet twice a month on Zoom, and we have a rolling WhatsApp that is always going, and we're always supporting each other. So I've got lots of stuff going on. And the thing is, when you join the Crushing It Collective, you now instantly get Uncommon Woman Ministry Live. So if you join the collective, then you instantly get membership into my live. Because they're women of faith, I thought, I want them to be in both. So I just said, if they commit to Crushing It Collective, then they get to come into this group as well. Okay? And if you come into the masterclass, you'll get in close proximity with me for 6 weeks. And I promise you, if nothing changes, then it's not me. Because I'm going to give you so much juicy goodness. Okay? I love you. I honor you. Stay on comment. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you so much, Alita, for putting romymarlowe.com there. You guys are amazing. And I will see you on Thursday for another call. So remember, VOICE. Go get it. See you later.